Hello and welcome. This is Melissa Thomas from C2C Stamping, and I'm excited to be showing you how to use embossing folders. And we have a lot of embossing folders, so let's get our big shot out. Oh, here's our Stampin' Cut emboss machine. It used to be called the Big Shot. Sometimes we call it the Big Boss. We also have a mini machine, but for today's purposes, I'm going to show you how to use the big machine. The little machine works similarly. You just have to be a little more careful about how you put the sandwiches in, and I'll show you about that. So, what I love about our Stampin' Cut emboss machine is that it shows you exactly what you need to do, and each of the plates is numbered. So this is plate number 1. And if I was going to do die cutting with our thins, which is most of our dies, then I'm going to use this standard number 1. I'm going to bring in number 2, which is this guy. And I love that on number 2, it also has the instructions. People have abused my plates over the years, and so it's okay. And then I'm going to use the 2 clear plates. So these are number 3, and they're numbered as well. Okay, so that's if I'm doing die cutting. Now, if I'm doing embossing folders, there's a couple of really important things. It says insert the embossing folder hinge first. I'm going to show you why in a minute. But we're going to use number 1, and then we'll either use the 2 clear plates or we'll use number 4. When we're doing 3D embossing, we're going to use plate number 4. Okay, so we're going to put our plate in, and we're going to do just a standard embossing folder. Now, we have some new embossing folders that are just standard, but they're very, very large. So our old embossing folders, most of them were this size, which is what we would call like card front sized, right? So they were usually about 5 by 6 or so. We do have some that are square, that are 6 by 6, and now we have some that are ginormous. I don't even know how big these are. These are probably like, it says they're 6 by 8.5. So this is a very large embossing folder. It is called So Swirly. It is beautiful, and we're going to emboss a piece of pool party cardstock. So we're going to put our cardstock in. One of the things we want to note is that at the fold, at the hinge, there's no embossing. So don't go past that because you're not going to get anything embossed. You're also going to want to make sure that the hinge goes in first. And that's because if you put it in the other way, it's going to create pressure and it's going to cause a crack, and it could break the folder. Because this is truly a folder, it opens up, right? And so we can put our paper in, we can close it. We're going to put the hinge in first. We're going to put our other plate, our number 3, so we've made a little sandwich. And now we're going to hold the table very steady. Sorry about this. You get to go for a small ride while we do this. And here we go. Holy moly, that was very exciting. Even the dog jumped on that one. All right, so these big ones, these are big, these are exciting. All right, so we're gonna check it out. Let's see what we got. Oh, wow. So why would you want an embossing folder this big? Well, you might want to, maybe you want to make like the entire card embossed, right? Front and back. Maybe you want to include something like this on a wall hanging or on a scrapbook page, right? So these are all ways that you can use them in a larger scale. And here we get to pick the piece we want. Maybe I want this piece, but maybe I want this piece. You could also get 2 card fronts out of this at a time, which is kind of cool. So yeah, so our new embossing folders, the large ones, are really cool. So we're gonna set that aside. I'm going to show you a couple of 3D ones. So we're gonna switch from using those clear plates, and we're gonna use plate number 4. This is a really thick plate. So this is the Distress Tile 3D embossing folder. We are going to put a piece of paper in here. There is a really handy dandy line on a lot of our embossing folders, and that's a nice way to line up your paper so that you can get a straight piece. If you don't want it straight, then you don't have to do that. Again, we're going to put the hinge piece in first. We're going to make our sandwich, and we're going to go for another ride. Now, hopefully, this one feels a little less tight, so that's good. Less shaking, right? But I'm going to straighten this out. All right, and here we go. Let's see. Oh, beautiful. So 3D embossing folders give a very deeply impressioned image. And this one's actually made so that there's imperfections, which I really love. I think it gives it a nice distressed look, right? That's the whole point of this one, a distressed tile. And you could always use the convex or the concave side. So this would be convex because it's coming towards you. This would be concave because it's going away from you. But yeah, beautiful. All right. So then the last one I want to show you, and then I'm going to show you a small technique, is a hybrid embossing folder. So a hybrid embossing folder is a embossing folder that's usually a 3D one, so it's going to be thick, and then we use dies with it. So this is the Seaside Wishes, and it has a die, and the die just locks in, so it's always on the Stampin' Up logo side, and you kind of just feel around until you feel it lock. And so I'm gonna kind of mess with this until I feel it. Aha, there we go. It's locked in. It's not moving, right? Then I'm gonna add my paper. I'm gonna close it. And let me tell you, so many people in class will slide this back. The machine works both ways. So you can roll one way and then you can roll the other way. Again though, hinge side first. We're gonna do cutting side down, so the sharp side is going away from us. I don't know that it really matters in these, but, and then we're going to roll it. Now, it's gonna take a little bit of extra effort because we've got that die in there too, but it's so worth it when you see what it does. All right, so we're gonna open it up. And we're gonna remove our die. We're gonna remove our piece, which this is beautiful too, and we might use it. But look at these sand dollars. Are they not gorgeous? Look at that texture. The back and the front, we can get both the concave and the convex. Y'all, this is just, these are just stunning. I love that they're textural, and these are just gorgeous. I cannot wait to use these on some fun projects. So our hybrid embossing folders both emboss and die cut at the same time. Now you can still use them just to emboss. You can also use them just to die cut, or you can do both, which is really cool. The other thing you can do with embossing folders is you can ink up one side or the other, and you can run it through the machine. So in this case, I inked up both sides because I wanted to show you what both sides look like. So when I can probably pop this back into the plate maybe and get it to fit, but I inked up both sides and I ran it through. So this is one side inked up and this is the other side inked up. So you can kind of see there's one that I like a little bit better. I think that this is the side that inked up a little bit better because it's got all the texture on it. But every embossing folder is different, and I just encourage you to ink up both sides, run it through, and see which one you like better. But this is a really fun way to add both texture and color. You can, of course, always come back with a sponge or something and add some color to these guys too. But thought I would show you that. I hope that you've enjoyed learning about embossing folders, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, y'all.